Hi, it's October the 14th today, and this video is going to be to review some of the trades I took this week, as well as check if I'm maintaining my risk parameters, which I set for myself at the beginning of the month, and to see how I'm doing so far. So yeah, let's jump into it. The risk parameters were a max loss of $800 a day. If I go over that, I should quit, as well as keep my average trade on speculative or non-good setups to 5,000 or less. Probably just avoid them is better. And I actually am trying to kind of dabble a little more in OTCs because I know there's a lot of money in OTC long strategies. So that's another thing I've been doing. Anyways, let's go on to that. So let's look at the spreadsheet for this month. I've reviewed in the past video up to the 8th. So we'll go on from there on. So DATs. This trade was actually, you can see I traded 30,000. So I had a few entries and exits. The loss is about 400 total, which is acceptable. However, I'm pretty confident that this is one of the stocks that I really overtraded. And yeah, you can see I took an entry here, an exit here, I cut it responsibly. I probably should have stopped here, tried again, cut it up here. And then here we're at 10:30. I had 2 entries and 2 exits. I'm losing on the day. This is probably where I should just permanently stop, but got back in, got a little bit of my money back. But, you know, I did overtrade this. I traded too many shares. I did trade this in both of my accounts. So that's not great. And you can see I put way more than I wanted to into that trade. Next day, I was a little bit better on it. That's probably 1 entry, 1 exit. And then after that, Proj. This was actually a nice trade. It says a 4.6% gain. I traded it once really well, and then I took a scalp on it. That was on, let's look at that. That was on the day before the red day. On this day where there's like the doji kind of, and it was just a really nice chart. I came home from my doctor's appointment and I had a massive move the day before, 130 to 250. Then this day it trapped off the open and I came home like right around here, after it had topped out in the 260s, 270s. And it slammed here, and then I think I just shorted this bounce right here, 250, and I covered down and around here, and then I took another short somewhere up here and covered there. So that was a nice trade that day. That kind of made up for my terrible DATS loss. Terrible, maybe undisciplined DATS loss. This is an OTC long I took, LIAC F. I've traded this before. It's like a lithium stock. I liked this one, and I'm really happy with how I traded it. It came up on my scanner. I took a look at it, and I bought it on this day here at, I think, 220. So let's just check that. Go back 2 days. Yes, I bought it up around here, 220s. It stayed in this channel all day. It had relatively good volume. And then I sold it the next day, yeah, into the spike. So that was a solid trade. And I hope I can do more of those. 7% gain, pretty solid. And yeah, I like that one. That's a nice OTC trade I had this month. DATS, again, this was on the 13th. This was pre-market. And then this is not in, yeah, that's an IB. And then I traded it again. Kind of disappointed with this one overall, actually, because this is the day of the big collapse. And I had a plan going into this. And I've realized that sometimes the chat room makes me lose confidence in my place. This stock was basically a perfect bounce short. It went from 7 to 17, more than 100%. Things I didn't like about it is float was relatively low, and it was kind of more or less controlled a little by social media. So I had decided this day, the day of the big red day, that I was going to trade it and risk off 1750. 1750 is the lower high off of this big collapse day back here, which I unfortunately can't look at on this platform, I believe. Can I? No. Anyways, so on that day, I took a little short at 1628 here somewhere. I covered it here. And then my plan was to short into this. I just watched it. I didn't touch it. But basically, I shorted it up here. And as soon as it started cracking here, I tried to slam it, but I couldn't get any more in. And I covered around 13s. So that was a solid gain. That was here, yeah. So my average was 1620 for the entry and 1325 for the exit. So didn't get the size I wanted, but solid trade. One of the better trades this month. Then after that, took a little loss in Proj that day in one account, and then in the other account, I trade zero. I made some. And then that comes to today. Today was weird. I traded an OTC long again. It was a low price OTC stock, and it was pretty much exactly like this other OTC stock I traded here, where what it did was it had a PR, it had a spike, I bought it, and then it just sold off, and I was a little too patient with it. So this day I bought it around 1 and I sold it around 0.8. That was 20% loss around. And then today, same thing. I bought it at 14 something. I sold it at 13. And the painful thing was the commissions. I didn't realize they were going to be so high. So yeah, I spent 161 on commissions trading this stock. So that just means I don't have the right broker for stocks in this price range. And I got to be careful about that because this loss was not really, it's too much. I mean, it's a 5% loss. It's not massive, but yeah, I'm almost at my max percent loss limit there. And then I also traded ALP today long, and this is fun. This is I'm excited about tomorrow, but cautiously excited. So ALP today, and I had some good success with ALP this month. I shorted it up here, covered in that day. I took a swing on it this day, and then I covered 2 days later in the 3s, so I nailed it 2 times. And then today, I mean, it just had a massive gap, and it had an uplisting notice. So they're uplisting to the NASDAQ next week on the 20th, and that just got me really excited. The volume is very interesting also. So I'm long it in this account and in my other account. And the big reason I'm long it is because I thought about this. And MindMed uplisted on this day, or they filed their uplist notice on this day, the 23rd of April. Sold off a bit, and then it basically ramped for 3 days until the uplisting day, and huge sell-off. So that's what I'm hoping for tomorrow. Basically put in a huge doji today. This isn't right. Yeah, so basically put in a huge doji today. Those are my entries. If it does anything but go up, I'll just get out. But I'm going to be very patient with my position if it starts to work in my favor and possibly add over this 480 or 5 zone. And who knows? It's amazing volume. if it can get past this 550, wow. I don't know. So yeah, that's it.